Josh, Aileen, and I will see you on March 13th. We're excited to see you as a panelist. For the people who are watching this that have been following you for a long time and maybe they are, in that process or they don't know what to do, what can you say as a mindset coach yourself to kind of like push through this year? And what advice would you give them that they should be doing in their business right now?
Well, let me start with, you're absolutely right. The energy at Galindo Group Real Estate is like none other. Period. And I know that because every single time somebody walks in that's never been there, they're almost like overly stimulated. They're like, this is incredible. Like they're shocked at how incredible the energy is. And to me, what I think is important to recognize is that by default, we are pack animals. We need interaction. We need energy from other human beings. We truly do radiate energy. People may not believe that, but we truly do. If you don't believe that, then go and stand next to somebody that's very angry and tell me if you sense anger. That's energy. Yeah. Stand next to somebody that's extremely optimistic and excited about life, and they just hit the lottery, or their girlfriend said yes to them while proposing, or some level of, you'll be like, wow, this guy's really radiating something. He seems really happy. He doesn't just seem happy. That seem is called energy. And so humans need that. They need that. It's important. And if you don't need too much of it, you can cut it off when you don't need it. If you need a lot of it, you can grab it where at our office. So that's very, very special, that Galindo Group Real Estate. I always say, I don't even know what's in the air. That when people walk in, if it's a fit for them, they begin doing much better in that environment. And I say, it's just something in the air. The reality is it's the exchange of energy where people are proud of other people's successes. They're willing to share how they got that success. So I'm very proud of that. And frankly speaking, not only am I proud of it, but I love the environment. It's so funny. We are so spoiled in that office to an extreme level of abundance. And I just realized it recently. The second I'm around somebody that doesn't radiate that energy, I was almost turned. I was like, whoa, like, dude, get away from me. It was so polarizing because it's so uncommon to me. Like I literally wake up, go to the office. I'm surrounded by high producing, high energy, positive people, every single day. And before I know, I was like, oh, this is just my reality. It's not. That's a very unique and special space that is very intentionally creating that. But then the second thing that you said, Zettie, is how do you push through? To me, I didn't like that term about this year, if I may speak to that. What I want people to look at this year like, and every year like, I had to battle through the last 4 years. Those were pretty treacherous years. As a business owner, as a landlord, as a house flipper, as a nonprofit, AKA I'm asking people for money, nonprofit. I'm making sure people pay their rent as a landlord. I'm flipping houses in a treacherous interest rate climate. And then I'm running a brokerage where I'm trying to inspire people that are also victims to a treacherous interest rate climate. But I never looked at it like, I just got to get through this year, or, I'm going to push through because this is tough. I always looked at it like, I'm going to annihilate what's ahead of me. Like everything is optimistic. I'm going to do just fine. I'm going to grow this thing. I'm going to do better than I did yesterday. I'm going to do better than I did last month. I'll figure it out. So many times I have this crazy idea and I present it to my team, and I know when it's a good idea because their response is like, this is crazy. And that I know means that I got a polarizing response, and when I get that, it's like, they're like, oh, that ain't going to work. I'm like, oh, we're going to make it work. But to me, it's never about, we're just going to get through it. Because to me, there's just a tone there that I don't think is serving. It's like, not only are we going to get through, but we're going to crush it. Something that I found to serve me well is it's not a delegation thing. I found that when I'm in a meeting, it allows me to be 100% present and in the meeting and give my full effort. If I'm not thinking about anything else, like after this, I don't know what I have next. But when I'm made aware of it, then I'll prepare for it. And when I'm in it, I'm 100% about that. And then while I'm in that, I don't know what I have after that. And so, but no, it's pretty high hand holding. Abby, my amazing assistant, my amazing, beautiful, kind assistant, she calls 30 minutes before every meeting.
Okay.
And then she looks at my location. And if I didn't answer, and I'm not on my way to the next meeting, then she'll call it 15 minutes. And then she looks at my location and makes sure that I can get to the next meeting. And she micromanages the shit out of me.
It's so helpful to have somebody help you run your business that way so that you're more present. But also you have a family. So you have someone helping you, making sure that you're attending with your family as well and that you're present with them. How do you balance your work-life schedule?
The only time that belongs to me in my whole day is from when I wake up until about 10. And so from 10 until about 6, my life is controlled by Abby, schedule-wise. And if I don't have meetings, then I'm out doing my own thing, obviously. But generally speaking, it's controlled by her. And then when I get off of work at like 6 or 7, literally my wife handles everything from there. So when I get off, I'm like, hey, what are we doing? We've got Jagger's practice, Kinsley's practice, Kennedy's got an indoor game, and Beckham has tryouts at Faith. And then we have a social event at this restaurant at this time with this person. And it's not like pure pleasure. Like nothing on here is pleasure. It's all work. Even going to the Knights game.
Yeah.
Because I don't just go and sit in my seat. I go, I have my branded gear on. I'm intentionally trying to find anybody makes eye contact and I can sense that they maybe recognize me, know who I am. Then it's my intent to walk up to them and introduce myself and solidify that possible relationship, So I start at the seats. Then at the first intermission, I go to the Ghost Lounge because that's where a lot of business and entrepreneur people are. And I just putz around and say hi to people. And then if I have a friend that's in a suite, then I'll go to the suite level. And then right before the presentation of the Key on the Ice, I have to go and meet the production team at 10 minutes prior to the second period ending. Then I got to go down the elevator. Then I go underneath the ice. And then I'm waiting for that to end. And then once that ends, then I go on the ice during that intermission. And then getting back up, I'm already halfway into the third period. And then I'll sit in my seats and maybe shake some more hands and talk to more people. But the whole thing, to be totally clear, which is like 90% of my life is networking and touching other human beings. But the first thing that you asked was, what's the balance? So if you really just take everything there. So actually I woke up this morning at 6:30. My son, I told him to start setting his alarm clock at 6:30 because he's behind in school. So I'm having to take him earlier. And this is the third day in a row that he didn't do it. So I was like, I'm going to wake him up with water.
Uh-oh.
So I went in there and at 6:50, he's still sleeping, no alarm. And I douse him with water. Uh-oh. Anyway, and then he's up and he's ready to go by 7:10. We golf carted all the way to Faith Lutheran from where we live. Nice. Which is really special because it's fun for me. I love golf carting. Mm-hmm. It's quiet. There's no distraction. You can't like drive a golf cart 25 miles an hour on major roads and play on your phone. So it's like 100% Beckham and Josh time. And it slows down the getting to school process. Mm-hmm. So I fully invested in him this morning. And then I went to the gym and then I'm here and then so forth. But people understand balance as this part of my life is dedicated to this, family, my wife, etc. This part of my life is dedicated to this, and this part of my life, I blend everything together. So I'm taking my friend to the Knights game. That's me socializing while I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying your guys' company right now, but technically I'm working. This is the intent behind this is to get my brand out there and teach people about who I am, but I'm still working.
Kill two birds with one stone. So I like how you're being very purposeful with your networking, being around everybody and bringing your friends along and mixing that balance all together. You're surrounded with so much people all day and night. How do you find yourself to be realigned with, like, just center yourself again when you're surrounded by so much energy and people and chaos?
I thrive on energy. The reality is that people do things for a benefit, no matter what, whether it's detrimental to their life, whether it's counterproductive, whether it's advantageous, there's always a reward. Like no human wakes up and pokes their finger 10 times because it hurts. So there's no reward. But if they found the pain to be a value in some way, a sensation, a high, a kick, whatever, if they found poking their finger, the pain to be a value, or even the attention of poking their finger, which is a value, they would do it. So every single action that a human does is ultimately desired by that human, whether it's detrimental, whether it's counterproductive, whether it's self-sabotaging, they want it. Now, when you become self-aware of that, that's how you can change those things. But so my point is that my environment, I am not a victim to. I have created this environment because I want it. I always say I don't get burnt out. I don't need a break. I don't need clarity, any of that stuff. I just get tired. So I just need sleep.
Yeah.
But the second I wake back up, I'm like, please God, inject me back into that environment again that I have created, because that's an environment that I desire. I wish I had more energy and more so I could touch everybody. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a disservice when I see Roszettie in the office and I have to walk by and say, hi, Roszettie. Like, if it was up to me,
it's like this,
and I had the time, I would stop and ask a million questions and interact, and then I'd go to the next person, do the same thing. So no, I desire this. It is chaotic, and I have to be very intentional again. Like, when I have to get work done, like yesterday, I had to get this email out that was incredibly important. Texted Abby before I walked in. I said, Abby, I need you to grab me as soon as I walk in and walk me to the office and sit in the office. And if anybody walks in, you've got to tell them no, because I have to be sensitive too. If somebody walks in, like Roszettie, for example, not right now, Roszettie, I'm in the middle of this email. That's not a very business friendly response. So I bring Abby in so she could be the bad guy, and I could be like, oh, hi, Roszettie. Hey, just give me a second. And then Abby's like, get out, Roszettie. And I'm like, Abby, be nice.
They don't read the note on the door.
You know,
good job, Abby.
Right, exactly. It's all intentional. But so when my point is that I have structures in place, I have systems, I have help, I have a tremendous amount of help. This Josh Galindo thing doesn't run without 12, 15 people that are helping me keep it all together. What people have to understand is that very few of the factors that influence our income are based on just luck or throwing a feather in the wind and hoping it blows it one way or the other. If you understand that our industry is obviously built on grit, grind, ability to push through, perseverance, taking no's, never giving up, networking, touching people, marketing, all that other stuff. So we're all aware of that. Okay. Now, there's one thing that people don't understand, and that we are operating in an economy that can be influenced by a government and also by a Federal Reserve. Okay. So, and I learned this because I've been so good at my craft for so many years. And about 2022 and 2023, I'd have a win on a flip, a win on a flip, a win on a flip, and then a big loss. A win, a loss, a break even, a win, a win, a win, a loss. I netted the year up, but it was a brutal year. And I'm like, man, if I lost my touch, like, I actually questioned myself, what am I not doing right? And then I looked at the bigger picture and I'm like, okay, what is the Federal Reserve's job? If the economy gets too hot, is to cool it back down. Mm-hmm. If the economy's not doing well, it's to ramp it back up. So I'm fighting the largest bank on the globe. Like, they built an environment, an economic environment that is discouraging to investors, to dampen growth. So when I understood that, I was like, I want to understand what factors that dictate his decision making. Nothing about me is hope and feel. You know, people think I buy a flip and I just think I can get 300. It's like, no, that's rooted in data. And if it's not rooted in data, then like a very small percentage, and I say 3 to 5% of it is gut. The rest is data. If the data is not there, I just don't buy it. Mm-hmm. I said, what influences the Fed's decision making? Because obviously they have to look at data to make a decision. Mm-hmm. So if I can learn their data and pay attention to those pieces of data, then I'll be able to see what's coming. So now I'm a better business person. Like, nothing is by accident with me. Mm-hmm. Okay. Having said that, what would make all of our lives better? Lower interest rates, right? Because it would allow buyers and sellers to transact. It's not just about getting commission. Obviously, that's the benefit. But what it would do is it would allow buyers to transact. It would allow its sellers to say, I'm willing to exchange my 3% for a 5%. It would allow a buyer to go, I can afford it now because the interest rate is 5%. It would encourage more transacting. Mm-hmm. People get so hung up on values. Well, the market held strong or prices went up. Yeah, but we're transacting at 2009 level volume. That's treacherous. That's bad. Okay. So I don't care what prices do. As a broker, I don't care. As real estate agents, we shouldn't care. One, we can't control it. Two, but we shouldn't care. Who cares if the market goes down? We don't own the piece of real estate. We're selling it. So what influences interest rates? Employment, energy, government spending. So inflation pushes up the 10-year treasury. When the 10-year treasury goes up, mortgage rates go up. So if you really want to understand mortgage rates, go watch the 10-year treasury. If you want to understand what influences the 10-year treasury, pay attention to inflation. If you want to understand how inflation's impacted, pay attention to energy, unemployment, and government spending. If you think about it, what is inflation? It's a surplus of the money supply, or it's an inflation of the money supply. They've inflated the money supply. They created more money. You just created. That's the key word there. Okay. Well, why are they doing that? Because of government spending. So if you reduce government spending, they don't have to create more money. If they don't create more money, then they don't have inflation. If inflation goes down, then the 10-year treasury goes down. The 10-year treasury goes down, mortgage rates go down.
Yeah.
Do you see how there's no accidents here? If we all just pay attention to the data, then we'll be able to predict our lives instead of being at the mercy of what a buyer or seller wants. You know, like now would be the time to be investing a lot of money in marketing because interest rates are coming down and you want to be that face that those buyers or sellers decide to go pick. Well, if the rates come down and all of a sudden the buyers and sellers are active in the market again, and you're like, maybe now's a good time. No, you've already gotten past.
Yeah.
Okay, long-winded answer. But if you pay attention to those indicators and what's happening, drill, baby, drill, right? That's what Trump's saying. Whether you like them or not, doesn't matter. If energy comes down, this water's cheaper because it got shipped to us via fuel. This book's cheaper. That candle's cheaper. These shoes are cheaper. These pants, because everything got shipped to us using fuel. If the price of fuel goes down, then the goods go down. That tames inflation. So drill, baby, drill. He's nuking the federal government. Okay, whether you like him or not, it didn't matter. I had to understand what he was doing so that I can navigate the business world. So unemployment's going to go up. What happens when the unemployment goes up? The Fed goes, oh my gosh, the economy might get weak. If the economy gets weak, what does he do? He lowers rates. If he lowers rates, mortgage rates go down and all of us celebrate. And then you have inflation, which we've already talked about that. So to me, the next 12 months is going to be amazing, but I have data to back it up. Sorry, guys, that was so long.
No, you're fine.
That
It's
was
okay.
very
We're waiting for it.
educational. A lot of us don't think about what the government is doing.
No, we're all playing in this arena that is dictated by rules and regulations by the government. And if you're not even conscious of that, then you're kind of just guessing. You're kind of just hoping. And like, I never have any insecurities on how I'm going to make my next amount of money to live my life. But I know I did at one point. So I remember that. And so if I did, I know a lot of realtors out there are wondering, how are they going to pay their bills for the next 6 months? That's a horrible feeling. And that's really the feeling that takes realtors out of the business. Is they're like, there's just too much uncertainty here. Well, if you start understanding how all of this game works on a detailed level, you can pull a lot of that insecurity, instability out of that equation.
You mentioned branding and marketing, and you have tailored I Am Josh Galindo to your brand with the red hat, like Aileen said. What advice that you can give to other agents that are spending money in marketing or maybe creating content on social media and look up to you in how they can find their own way in this business? You
have to exhaust all of the free or cheap marketing first. You know, I hired this marketing girl one time. And I remember the task was to make sure the market knew about us. And this is before I had any real money to spend on marketing. And she's like, let's do billboards. Let's do bus stops. Let's do buses. Let's do, you name it, something expensive. Okay. Expensive. I'm looking back here. I'm like, you don't think I thought of that? I could have done all that. But that's $25,000, $30,000 a month that I don't have. No, I need someone that can get creative. Every bit of my marketing and branding foundation was derived from either extremely inexpensive or simply free. What does that mean? I wear all black. Everywhere I go, your subconscious could see me out of your peripheral and know it's me because I've stained your brain. There's this part of your brain that uses repetition to recognize things. So my point is even if you saw me out of your peripheral, it would be all black and a red hat. You go, that's probably Josh. because that's all I wear. So everywhere I'm going, I'm literally branding just by that. So it's just a choice of colors. But then the other thing is I put stickers on my cars. I branded Galindo Group Real Estate on my cars. And then everywhere I parked, I was intentional with how I parked. There's so many things that you don't realize that people just aren't doing. Like, I don't want to wait for the parking spot. Anxious. This is my wife I'm referring to. And then she'll go drive to the back of the parking lot and park. I got an up front parking spot today. You walk out and the first car you see is mine. But that's intentional and it's free. So you start with the free. How am I going to brand myself? How am I going to show up? My point is how you dress. You could do it by being consistent all of the time. The thing is, all this costs money, but not very much. You buy conversation pieces. My red hat is a conversation piece. Why? Because the first time people think I just wear a red hat. Second time people are like, damn, you wear the same hat. Third time, like, oh, he's intentional about wearing that hat, and maybe asks, why do you wear the hat? And then I explain it. It's a conversation piece. I buy expensive watches. My whole outfit's probably less than $150 minus my watch. Why do I spend money on watches? One, they hold value. And why I have to spend more money to make sure I get the one that holds value. People go and buy a Citizen for $1,800. I'm like, dude, you just blew $1,800 out the window. That's why maybe you could pay somebody $100 to take that watch, but no one's going to give you any money for a used Citizen. You better off delaying the gratification and saving more money and buying an entry-level Rolex for $8,000. Why? Because the $8,000 it'll always be worth $8,000. It might even go up. It likely will go up over a few years. So it's not about spending money recklessly. It's about spending money intelligently. And being very, very consistent with one thing that you like. What people forget is that all of this attention grabbing that I do, it's just attention. And attention isn't worth anything unless I can convert it to business. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can walk around and everybody knows me, but if I don't shake hands, say hello, educate them on the services that I provide, and add value, then the attention's just attention. And some people are out there wanting just attention. Yeah. So my attention is very intentional. The attention that I grab is in hopes that somebody goes, hey, I've seen you. And I stop. Every time someone sees me or recognizes me from social media, I stop and I go, what's your name? Because they think I'm just going to dismiss them. I stop. It just happened the other day in the gym. The guy was on the way out. He looks at me like, Josh? And that's how you kind of know. Because they have a relationship with you, but I don't know them. And I go, hey, what's up, brother? I go, what's your name? Like, what a kind thing to do. What's your name? He tells his name is David, I believe his name was. And I go, well, Josh Galindo, very good to meet you. And I go, bro, every like, view, and comment matters. So I appreciate you following me. Aww. And that just solidified that relationship. If I see him again, now we have a deeper relationship. Then I'm going to hit him with, do you own a house? Do you own any real estate? No, And then he hits you with the objections. Then I overcome the objections. Oh, my credit sucks, or I don't make enough money, or whatever it is. And then I resolve all those objections, and then I give him hope that he can own. And then I leave it there. And the next time I see him, I ask him again, hey, did you do anything about what we talked about last time? No. But before we know it, when and if he's going to go buy, he thinks of me. At some level, all of this branding and marketing that I'm pumping out, is absolutely benefiting the businesses of each agent at Galindo Group Real Estate. The fact that these people believe in me, my agents believe in the brand, I'm going to make sure that you have to be living under a rock to not know who we are. And that's what I did. That is all with the intention that when one of my agents that believed in my dream walks into a home and says, I'm Roszettie with Galindo Group Real Estate, and we're partners with the Golden Knights. And if you drive on the 215 at all, you will see our brand. She's proud to represent the brand, and it gives her a leg up. And my hope is that my agent now has a added bonus to getting the deal than a deficit. And that's why I went so ballistic with marketing Galindo Group Real Estate. I
love the branding, the marketing that you're doing for your brokerage. It really does help. They're learning to brand themselves too. So it's really helping. But thank you so much for joining us today.
I don't want it to end.
Hear for you more on March 13th. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
And if you're going to be joining us, it's at 1 p.m.
Beautiful.
See you there.
Thank you both, ladies. See you guys there.